back, Dark Sky Expeditions. My name is Zachary LaPointe, and this is part 2 of preparing for the Salt Flat 50. So as you know, Ray Smith and myself, we're gonna walk 50 miles in one straight shot across the lower portion of the Bonneville Salt Flats. Now in the last video, I covered what gear I was gonna wear on my person, how I was gonna pack it. And today I wanna go over what food I expect to eat, or at least plan to eat, over 50 miles. So we are splitting the course into 10 separate segments with one bucket, 5-gallon bucket, like so, every 5 miles, more or less. So instead of having to be burdened with carrying enough water for 50 miles and food, we're just gonna set a bucket at a waypoint about every 5 miles. So I'm gonna go over what I'm gonna prepare for myself in this bucket, and I'll just give you a heads up now, this is drastically different than what Ray Smith is preparing, and I'm excited for you to see his video because it is completely different. So in front of me, I've got everything I plan on bringing. And this is probably a health specialist or nutritionist's worst nightmare, because this is essentially all packaged processed foods. But my thought process behind this was these buckets are going to be non-climate controlled, sitting in the sun for 20 hours. So I can't really put anything perishable in there. So I've split this into 3 categories. The first category, I'm calling this my gels and salts. So this first category here is purely, let's call it liquid carb and salts. So when you sweat, you lose salt, salts being positive cations like magnesium, sodium, potassium. And if you're ingesting pure water and not replacing those salts, then the equilibrium between the water inside the cells and the water outside the cells becomes skewed. Water is pulled inside the cell wall that has a more positive concentration of ions. The cells can swell and it can turn into bad things. So to prevent that, I've got here all of my salts. So I have the scratch salt powder I dissolve into water. I've got the gels, which is a sweet gelatinous semi-liquid substance that has caffeine, potassium, magnesium, some calories, some carbs. I've got chews, which are like gummy bears, but they've got a higher concentration of salt and carbohydrate. Another brand of chews, and salt tablets. So in this section right here, just my salts and my chews and gels, I've got 4,030 calories just in this section right here, consisting of almost 1,000 carbohydrates, 535 grams of sugar, just right here, 21 grams of sodium, so your traditional salt, 1.6 grams of magnesium, and 7.2 grams of potassium, just in this section. Now the second section of foods I have here are what I call my desserts. So in going 50 miles in what could be 24 hours, it's nice to think you have sweet delectables waiting for you at the next bucket or break point. A little psychological stimulus to keep you going. So as you can see here, I've got Reese's Pieces. I've got protein like Pop-Tarts, the complete cookie, which is a calorie-dense, protein-dense cookie, and then this. I'm already excited to drink this. This is 6 servings of powdered chocolate drink, chocolate shake mix, essentially, and a pouch of freeze-dried cookie dough. So in my desserts section right here, I've got 4,120 calories, 176 grams of fat, 127 grams of protein, 550 grams of carbohydrates, 332 grams of sugar, a lot of sugar, 2 grams of sodium, and 3 grams of potassium. The salts are kind of hard to go on because Some of these manufacturers are really good and they'll put the salt on here. Others will not. Like we'll see in this next section here, my savory foods. I've got a mix of corn nuts, beef jerky, Chef Boyardee, canned pastas, and freeze-dried Mountain House meals. So the beef jerky, we know this has a lot of sodium, but they don't list how much sodium's on there, probably because it'll probably freak out consumers if they did. We know that has a lot of sodium. But anyways, my savory foods here between canned pastas, beef jerkies, corn nuts, and I grabbed the corn nuts only because I knew these were salty and they were pre-packaged and I could just throw them in these different buckets. So in here we've got 6,710 calories total, 192 grams of fat, 241 grams of protein, 900 grams of carbohydrates, 211 grams of sugar, 5 reported grams of sodium, but we know that's not true. We know there's a lot more sodium in these beef jerkies, and 7 grams of potassium. So cumulative here, we've got 14,860 calories, 368 grams of fat, 368 grams of protein, 2,400 grams of carbohydrates. Pretty impressive. That's 5 pounds. This is almost 5.5 pounds of carbohydrates. We've got 28 grams of sodium, 1.6 grams of magnesium, 17 grams of potassium, but we know that's not accurate. There's more sodium and salts in here. So that averages out to 297 calories per mile. And today I jogged almost 1.5 miles. According to Apple Watch, who knows how accurate this is, I burned 227 calories in that 1.5 miles. So this is a slight overestimate compared to this fit tracker, but I think I'm sitting pretty good. I don't think I'm too overboard here, and I'm definitely not underestimating what I'll eat. I know Ray's, like I said, I'm looking forward to sharing with you his keto meal, which is pounds and pounds and pounds of just meats, fresh meats. But he's also got these 1,000-calorie keto bars. I don't have those with me today, but if we throw those in the mix, I'll definitely get it on video and show you what it's about. So, yeah, yesterday we went over what I'm going to carry on the last video. Today, all about the food we're putting in the bucket. We're also putting 2 gallons of water in each bucket, 10 buckets, that's 20 gallons. So that's 10 gallons a piece over 24 hours. And we've also got some other things we're going to put in the buckets at kind of the midpoint, maybe mile 25 or 20, like extra socks, extra underwear, towelette wipes, Visine, more Gold Bond foot powder, tape for blisters, those kinds of provisions. So we are T-minus 2 days before we head out and start dropping our buckets at our waypoints on our route, and we are super excited. I haven't been this excited for something in so long. This is the most insane, crazy idea in a long time, and I just absolutely love it. So thank you for following the progress as we prepare for this, and it's only going to get better as you guys get a first-hand view of what this actually looks like in execution mode. So stay tuned. Thank you.